Hi guys. I've got the wound back again. So you're going to hear this, well, it sounds like a whoopee cushion or it, odd. So if you hear any kind of noises, I'm not being rude. Okay. Anyway, just have had some complications, so I am back on the wound back. Now, I just wanted to do a very quick reading because Prince William just had to leave his godfather's funeral on for personal matters. And I do think, um, throwing the cards as I did off camera, that there's some kind of struggle going on with Kate. And it looks like it could be a mixture of both emotional reaction to things, but also like physically there's a challenge as well. It's so hard to get kind of a clearer idea about what's going on with her because we all know that something's not right. Um, and I think that it's not good not to be honest with the public, um, because her job, so to speak, is public, and it is as a representative of the of England. So I think they're going about this situation all messed up. So I'm just going to try and look. Like I said, the cards I threw, like regular tarot cards, showed like the Five of Wands, which is resistant. It's that's my phone. Sorry. It is someone struggling. It can be fighting. It can be arguing. It can be getting physical. Um, at and at the very least, argumentative, resistant. And I also got like the Seven of Wands, which deal with a number of challenges that she's facing coming up and that she is trying to overcome. And I was shown there's a small little core group working along with her to try and help her through these challenges, whatever they may be. So I'm just going to use this deck. It's called Mysteries of a Lover's Journey. You can use it not just for relationships. Sometimes it comes up with interesting results. So my jacket's all twisted here. That's the fun of being on bed rest. Anyway, so I just want to see. First, I'm going to look at it from William's point of view. Why did he leave? Why did he leave his godfather's funeral to attend a personal matter? What is going on with that? What do we need to know? What can we understand? Since the palace won't be transparent, which I think is a big mistake. What is going on? Why did Prince William have to leave his godfather's funeral? What are the personal matters, to be honest, going on? So let's just take a look. Well, something's off course. This is a distraction going on. I don't think that his leaving is a distraction. I think that there's definitely something that is off course. And I definitely think that there's, just in looking, like there's two parallel roads here. It makes me feel like also a decision. Trying to, I think, also manage the public face versus the private issue going on. And there could be also choices because something's not on course, something's not running correctly. I do read pairs, and this is a very interesting card to get. Look at that. It's a woman that's being crowned, and admiration, in awe, worshipped, highly valued. Admiration. Well, I think maybe he's gaining greater appreciation of his wife. Um, there's also all that comes with it, all the pressure that comes with being a royal. I'm just, intuitively also feeling the physical feature of this card, the graphic representation of the woman being crowned. This is also, I think, the public's desire to know what's going on. And then when we couple it with the distractions card, off track, there is something, no kidding, amiss. So what else we got? Detachment, disconnecting, fading, disappearing. So there's a feeling of disconnection to the now, to the present. Someone, you know, just potentially being overwhelmed, and low key. So these two cards go together, detachment and low key, which is unofficial, private connection, discreet. I think this also deals with her fading from view. Um, I believe also this unofficial fading away, disappearing, disconnecting. I think emotionally, mentally, there is perhaps, like I said before, dealing with depression, dealing with not feeling and accepting one's present circumstances. I think she's struggling definitely in some way, and that's why he's called away. She's definitely having, I would say, some sort of reaction, and energetically with the wands, mentally with the swords. Um, but there's a great deal of energetic pull and sway um, with the tarot that I pulled for her. Um, I'm trying to think what else. Well, I'll just continue with this. So I do feel like they are trying to keep it discreet. They are trying to keep her disappearance, her lack uh, of being out there on the down low. Captive, limitations, imprisonment, restrictions. I think she's feeling stuck. And there's feminine energy. And look, the abdomen is showing, not for nothing. Could she, again, whatever she had done, whether it was with the reproductive organs or intestinal, whatever, there is, I think, a struggle going on within her to feel her best. to put it mildly. There's a sense of limitation and having to be passive, having to wait, and feeling stuck and by restrictions. Now, this card could really be symbolizing with the feminine energy that maybe it's trying to give us a signal that this is to do with, as I was saying, feminine reproductive system. Um, but if just as much as if there's intestinal issues, let's say, for example, um, colostomy, uh, I don't, I have a feeling it's more than one issue for two reasons. Because of my own experience uh, with health matters, very often there's more than one thing going on. One thing often affects another. You know, there's a kind of a domino effect. So that wouldn't surprise me. The other thing was she got the card of that Seven of Wands, which is more than one issue that is significant that you're up against to overcome, that you're fighting more than one battle at a time. And she's got multiple serious, within that card that I pulled for her off camera, um, challenges facing her that she's responding to energetically. And there might be a great deal of frustration, tears, um, depression, disconnection, denial, if you will, who knows, to her circumstance. It can be maybe all of the above. And she's just having a seriously difficult time. Again, I think it's a shame that they make it worse. They make it worse with all this secrecy, because then people's imaginations can run wild. Just give the people the truth. We get moving on, outgrowing, walking away, evolving. Hopefully, this is getting better, whatever the circumstances are. Pursuit, determination, changing and relentless. Well, although I'm looking at her, and the readings also through kind of Harry's scope, to me it shows the potentiality that this at some point is going to give way through the use of one's determination to move beyond it, to move beyond the restriction, to move beyond the captivity that she's in and the passivity that she has to display. And I think she's bucking up against that. It's hard to accept. And there's a number of, I think, complications. I don't think it's just one complication. But this shows a return of some kind of stamina, of purposeful, goal driven energy that moves beyond and evolves up and beyond the circumstance of where one has to be stuck and feel very trapped and passive with this feminine energy. And like I said, my other reading about her, I feel like she's having definitely emotional mental response to what I think are physical limitations of some kind that are in place, that she is still very much in a struggle position, and it's going to take time. Let's see what else we get. Again, this is a good little deck, and it doesn't always have to be like for, I got it off Etsy. It doesn't always have to be for relationship stuff. You can use it in other ways, but it's the mysteries of a lover's journey. We get some remorse, there's mistakes, guilt, shame, and we get the card of hope, faith, trusting the process, manifesting change after that determination. So I believe this is Harry, not Harry, I'm sorry, wrong prince. I believe that this is William. I believe that this is feeling some remorse on his part. I do. Some kind of guilt. And maybe even shame in his past behavior. Um, because of all she's going through. He's seeing it. It's kind of, I do feel like it's opening his eyes. And the hopefulness. There is, in the core, almost a prayerfulness. Even if he's not a religious person, there's this holding on to hope and trusting in the process. There's great determination, not only on her part, but on his part, for goals to be met, for this situation to evolve and move beyond its current situation and manifest change. Because right now, there's some kind of regret. Maybe there's a regret that she had the surgery, or that she. It could be, also how you treat people. How you can wake up when someone has health issues that you really care about. Um, it can open your eyes, and how you behave and have treated that person. I see that there is loss, there's emotional suffering at hand, and there's grief, and there's fear, and worries, apprehension, inhibition. So again, they're playing it close to their chest. The mourning card concerns me a bit, not gonna lie, but there is some kind of loss. There is some kind of emotional suffering, at the very least, this card is bringing forward. And that makes more sense, to me. There's, I think, a devastating kind of a depression, and there's fear. I think that worries that this is not going to progress and get better. And the inhibition, I think, is keeping her hidden uh, until she is somehow ready to face the public. But I think she's a long way off from that. I think there's a very high component of mental health issue suffering going on that he recognizes. Vulnerability is this card. Open heart and receptive, accessible. And we get guarded, caution, boundaries, protection. So there's a definite feeling of highly protective toward her, feeling that she is in a very vulnerable position. I feel like this is William thinking of his wife, maybe more as a mature husband for the first time. Um, and I think he's, very concerned that she not go out there too soon before she's ready, because he sees her as still needing protection, still as being very vulnerable. And I think he worries that she could suffer some kind of setback if she goes out there too soon. She's not perhaps emotionally um, in a place yet to weather that. Any kind of criticisms or questions that might trigger her, this sort of thing. Yeah, we're getting overwhelmed. Look at the waterfall of emotion. I think that it isn't just Kate that's overwhelmed, but I think he's also in empathy, in a way, and his own way, very overwhelmed. It says instability, emotional, intense feelings. So once again, I feel like there is a very much a mental emotional response that she's struggling with, to whatever complications. Um, and I can't do tend to think that there's a very much a feminine, maybe hormonal response or sense of identity, one's sense of identity in feeling attractive, feeling strong and confident. I don't think she's feeling that at all. I'm getting that her emotions are like all over the place. So we do get that emotional instability. But what would come with it is the card of rescue and assistance, calling out for help, reaching out. Could be that when she becomes overwhelmed, that she calls out for him, that she is reaching out, starting to ask for help. And it could be also that he's going to have to ask for help too, emotionally, support, because there's an overwhelming feeling going on here emotionally, and just worry and fear. So, it's not easy. There is prying, mystery, intrigue, piqued interest. That's the public. That's us. Those of us that care. And there's hope, hopeless. And it says despair, victimized, giving up. I believe that they're seeing her as being possibly victimized. It could be that the prying folk are wanting to depict her as hopeless, just not in a positive light. And I don't know that that's correct at all, because it doesn't feel like it. It feels like, from a certain perspective of people and news agencies, journalists that are prying into this, they're offering what it looks like from their peephole, so to speak, and it doesn't look good. Maybe that's all the talk of the coma and etc. Not to say that she wasn't in it, but it just might be that they're offering a very grim perspective. We get stillness and an action idle, and we get recovery. She is just going to have to remain, I think, very much probably on some form of bed rest herself, to recover, for things to settle down, both mentally, emotionally, and then physically, some kind of a balance. It says, with the recovery card, it says retreat, time out, healing. And it's done in silence and without great action. It's very quiet. So you don't look for them to be making a big fuss. They're going to keep it on the down low. And she's going to remain behind the scenes because she's just not ready. We get escape, avoidance, blocking out, and running. I think this is from the public. And alluring, captivating, enticing, seduction. Well, this is about avoidance connected to seduction, temptation, and going the opposite direction. So whatever what one may want to take that, I would say whatever might have been tempting in the past to do, that it's kind of superficial. I feel like they're not going to run to that in a form of escapism, but more that They're blocking it out. They don't want to be part of it. There's avoidance of it. So keeping him in mind, I feel like certain bad habits he may have had, whatever, that would have tempted, he's going the opposite direction. He's moving away from it. That's what these cards suggest. Now, we do get seclusion, inner reflection, and being withdrawn. And we get the card of clinging, holding on, obsessive. This could be part of the problem that she's having as well. Maybe she's having become more obsessive with fears or insecurities, given her struggle to recover. And I think that's the truth, that there's a struggle to recover. I believe with him, there's clinging to the solitude. Still, no F's will be given. He's very protective, I believe, of what I'm being shown, of her vulnerability, and not about to subject her to the paps. So again, this is going into the future, still very much pulled back, very much in seclusion, very much, I feel like, ruminating over things and thinking things of the past, with a different eye. I feel like there's an evolving going on, a maturing going on. You go through something like this with a spouse, and that's expected to happen and necessary. A few more cards. Ooh. Illusion, fantasy, clouded judgment, disillusionment, and it goes with awareness, depth, consciousness, understanding. What I was just talking about, an expansion of understanding of a new consciousness and awareness from the past. So there's a great deal of change coming, both to his behavior at maturing, and I think the pair of them as a couple and as private individuals, this will mature both of them from the past. And maybe where there's been clouded judgment used, or escapism, or where one has been, there's coming to realize a great deal of illusion from the past that is kind of broken open with a new awareness, which that's better than just being stuck with disillusionment. It could be also what she's having to deal with, any kind of denial, any kind of inability to accept the change that I feel has happened with her health. Here we have rarity, valued, only you, incomparable. And we have clarity, epiphany, which doesn't surprise me after going through kind of thinking and ruminating over the past and realizing what wasn't very realistic. Then we have greater clarity and value and a perspective shift. Perhaps he'll value her more, value each other more. But there's a new awareness coming to him and to her. All right? So we get the resistance here. And again, her feeling trapped, her feeling and fighting that. But it's the feeling that she can't go and do for herself. It's a challenge. And she gets the temptation card. It does say lust, but I don't know that it's necessarily that at all. With her energy, I doubt very much. I think she just is dealing with the temptation to not remain very still, very what feels like trapped. Um, I also think that if her husband was being unfaithful in any degree in a relationship, this would indicate, again, that would be over with. There is resisting uh, temptation, fighting it, suppressing it, a desire. And on her part, it could be to get out there before she's ready, or to do anything before she's ready, or to do anything before her body is ready. Sometimes, like what I'm doing right now, after complications with the surgery, you just have to do very difficult things. Like I can only sleep in one position, and my neck and everything gets all stiff, and I can't be getting up a lot. In fact, most of the time I'm spending here is having to be in a, on my side, and it gets very, very old, and you get very, very frustrated. People can get very depressed. And if you have something where now you're not only dealing with that, but let's say you're dealing with infection or any kind of imbalance with hormones and or serotonin going on, you've got a lot to deal with. So I think there is something along these lines going on, and kind of a mixture. It's more than one thing. And it looks like it's going to go on for some time yet. I don't know about Easter, to be honest. Um, I tend to think it's going to take longer than that. And for people to be prepared for that, and maybe for people to calm down a bit and give them space, because they're not going to rush her out there. They're just not going to. They feel like it's too vulnerable for her, and it could send her over the edge. That's the feeling I get. So I get past life, familiarity, repetition, deja vu, and I get the card of mixed signals, confusion, inconsistency, wishy-washy. Maybe this does deal with something from a past life. And something seems very much like a deja vu or an odd familiarity. Um, this confusion, this mixed signal. Again, I feel like mentally for her, there's a lack of clarity going on for her. Maybe, and confusion. Maybe she doesn't have a grounded sense of reality yet. I'd say definitely something along these lines going on. Again, we get card of desire and serenity, peacefulness, tranquility, ease. And we get the card also that deals with carnal needs and desire, sensuality, and serenity. Maybe this is the feeling of being at peace with oneself, uh, and still feeling like you're desirable, maybe accepting any kind of changes that may have made you not feel that way. And I'm thinking more of her. Um, and if it also has to do with him, it would be that he would be at ease more, like he's working on that angle and he's not doing what he might have been tempted to do in the past. We get resilience, which is bravery, persistence, and endurance, and we get detox, purging, purifying, energy cleanse. There's some release going on of toxic emotion and perhaps actual infection, um, and strength returning. I think she's just been through hell, and she will endure. But it's quite the road to toe, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Like I said in one of my earlier readings about her, there's the truth card that comes out, honesty, exposure, authenticity, and manifestation, imaging, daydreaming, wishful thinking. So, manifestation is like, to me, about how to tell the truth, how to bring this to the forefront, how to be honest about maybe what she's going through finally. Um, Authenticity. How do they know what, how do you know what they're telling you is true? Um, Maybe they'll finally start to be more open. We get obstacles, trials, long journey, okay, challenges, which is exactly what I said, a long road to toe. Second card that goes with that is grudge, anger, resentment, and bitter. They're dealing with some people being bitter about the long road. There could be grudges, dealing with that, and bitterness, trials. It's definitely a huge trial for her and for them both as a couple. And I think she's holding on to a great deal of anger, resentment, and bitterness. I think not only about what's happened to her and what she's having to try to heal, um, mentally, emotionally, physically, but also anger. Maybe anger at some kind of uh, at the complication itself. Maybe that certain things didn't work out. That I think she's dealing with a great deal also of, I get, anger, um, and maybe anger at him. I think she's got some complicated issues emotionally going on. So I just feel that that's really about it for right now, and I'll stop right there because I think I've pretty much touched on the gist of it, which is that yes, there are physical, emotional, and mental complications going on. I do think she's having reactions to things that are complicated, and I think that I quite frankly get a feeling of like she could respond with a great deal of anger, lashing out currently too at times, and not feeling very frustrated, very confused, not logical and you know, grounded to the current reality. There's still a great deal of resistance to the truth, and eventually, I think we're going to come to get little pieces bit by bit, um, about what's really gone on. But I think they're going to keep a lot of it to themselves, and it's going to be more out of once she does have is seen again, and then I feel people will kind of read between the lines. But I don't know how much of the truth we're ever going to get from the palace about what's really going on. And I can only state again and again that It's definitely affecting her on an energetic level. Healing is very tiring. It's frustrating. It can cause depression, anger. I very much do get the sense that she wants to be free, to move about like she did in the past, and can't, and that's very frustrating. Uh, she's having to process a lot of the past and the present situation, and that her life will not be the same. And that makes her feel very physically, mentally, emotionally vulnerable. And William's very protective of that. So I'm just going to leave that there. That's what I'm getting. You can feel free to leave comments below as long as they're not nasty. If they're just negative, I don't want that on my channel. I don't mind, and I want people to express themselves, but if people are just here to dump a load of stink, I don't want it on my channel. So please share your feelings maturely and with respect. Thanks so much. And if you appreciate readings like this, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you. I will talk to you soon as I can in readings yet to come.